Okay, so today we're going to do installation of a twin USB socket with a voltmeter attached to it on a 2018 Kawasaki Z1000SX or Ninja 1000, wherever you are in the world. And it's got a great location already there for the USB socket on the standard factory bike and the 18 model. It didn't have on the 15 model I used to have, so you would have had to drill a hole, but here there's a blanking plate ready for it. This is the blanking plate. There's a little attachment on the back to unscrew, and you get access to it. It's 32mm, but we'll check that and I'll give you all the details for it. So the key is understanding how to get there safely, how to get to behind the fairings and the dashboard, and there's actually already outlets, little sockets, live and neutral, switch live and neutral, ready for it, because you can buy a Kawasaki accessory that is quite expensive, and if you just take a look on Amazon, I'll put a link in the description, probably a little screenshot here on the video, somewhere here-ish. You can get for about £15 delivered a really nice socket. Just need a little bit of wire, a couple of bullet adapters, and we'll show you all of that. It's really, really easy. But the key thing to do is to understand how to get the fairings off first. Best way to understand how to get the fairing off is look at one that's already been taken off to see where all the mounting points are. Personally, if it's really, really cold, or if the bike's getting old, if you're doing this on a bike that's a few years old, but if it's very cold, be careful when you extract the fairing studs, these little mounting studs. It can snap and break, so be careful when you do that. But this fits on the bike like that. And in order to get it off, there's a few screwed mounting points, which I'll show you in a moment, but there are these little rubber grommets in the bike, just here, there. You have to just get your fingers behind the fairing and just pull it slowly, ease them out of the grommets. Okay, if you pull too hard and from too far away, you're going to bend or fracture the little studs, so you've got to be very careful with what you're doing. Once you've pulled those 4 grommets out, there's a further grommet down here to pull out. So the lower grommet, get your hands behind, just gently ease that out. The fairing then clips in at the front and it will slide out to the front. Okay. A couple of other mountings you've got to pull off to get the side fairing off. You'll find these little pop rivet type devices in the fairings, and they're normally flush like this. You need to push that middle pin in. Small little Allen key will do the job. So these little pins, if you just push that all the way in, it releases the pin through the shaft here and allows you to extract this popper. To reinsert it, you force the pin gently all the way through to the top so it protrudes like this, pop it in the hole and push that back flush. Really neat little device, really great device. Also there's a small 4mm Allen bolt just in there. Little rubber washers underneath them. They're not done up as tight as you might think. All you need to do is compress that rubber washer. So it's just over finger tight, if you will. Quite firm, but not too tight. Once that's out, your little rivets out here. Ease off the 4 studs behind here, the one behind here, and this whole piece will slide forwards. What we then do is remove the Allen bolts from around the dashboard, because we want to get this dashboard off, and there's some mounting points just behind here to pull out. So this is an example of taking out one of those little pop rivets. So we're just going to push the pop all the way through. Simples. What I'm going to try and do, if I can, is to manipulate this piece just gently. Get a small screwdriver in behind there and unscrew that. There's a little mounting bar across the back there with a small crossblade or Phillips screwdriver head. Want to be careful here I don't scratch the tank or mar the tank paintwork, so I'm going to put a microfiber cloth behind that. That should fix that. So just behind here, not trying to bend it too much. That's what we want to undo. Okay, so this is the factory plate we want to get rid of. and that's the little device we've been unscrewing. That just fits on the back here, holds it on. There's a little clearance there, so you need a little stubby screwdriver. Just clean that up a little bit. That's what I like. So that's where we're going to put our new device. There are a couple of other connectors, power connectors. I've seen other people put run a cable all the way down here, down to some switch lives out here. That's for your heated grips, accessory grips. And there is just back in here, which I'll dig out and point out to you very shortly, the two connections for the USB socket. So we're just going to need a small cable to run from here down to about here behind the dashboard. In order to get the dashboard off, there's two more little rivets and two more 4mm underneath here. So we're going to get the windscreen off to give us access. 4mm Allen key. Oh, these aren't very tight at all. So a bit dull this bit, so I'll probably speed it up. So we want to free this piece off. It's held on by these little pop studs and these 4mm here. So push the centre in. Easy, great idea, these clips. So this little cowling now comes off, just slides off from underneath. Pretty grimy, we'll clean it. Yeah. I'll clean all that later. So down in here is the wiring I need, so hopefully we can get access to that now. Looks like we probably didn't need to do that. So just down past, just above your indicator on the fairing, are two connections. So we've got a white with a blue stripe and a black. The white with the blue stripe is the that's the switch live, which we're going to use. That's for that is specifically for this USB accessory port. So we're going to connect into that. I'm not saying that Amazon overpackage anything, but when I ordered the USB connection or the socket online, I got it in a rather substantial box, and when you take a look inside, way over here in the corner is this tiny little package, fits in my hand, and I use this enormous box for it. Come on, Amazon. So with this kit you get a handy little twin USB socket. It's also got a really cool voltmeter on there. Me being me, I went for the one with the green display because my bike's green. So if you're like me, you like stuff in boxes, kits. So I've got this from Screwfix. It has all the electrical connections that I'm going to need, probably forever. There's like 500 pieces or 1,000 pieces in there. But what I particularly need are the bullet connectors. So they're in there. That's what I need for this job. We need one male bullet and one female bullet connector to connect to the live, switch live already in the bike, and the ground. It's already there. You're going to need two other tools as well. Crimping device for your crimps, so you'll need that, and some wire cutters. None of these are too expensive, and if you add the price of the USB kit, I think that's £14 delivered. You get these for £5, these for about £5 or £6 online. The whole kit excludes my ridiculous expense on a massive number of crimp connectors in a box. But the whole kit should be available to be done, fitted by you on your bike, delivered to your door for, I don't know, £20, £25. And you consider the price of the accessory online, which I'll put a link to now, the price difference is phenomenal. And in fact, I think this device is slightly nicer because it's got the green voltmeter display and stuff like that. So we'll see that in a minute. Let's get into it. Let's open up our little device first. It comes in a really bizarre package. I'm not quite sure why they do this, but anyway. So in this kit, you do get a small wiring loom, which has spade connectors, all the way over to some very simple ring connectors, terminal connectors for a battery. We're going to use just a small part of that. This bit, I'm going to cut the cable to length. You get inside two little crimp connectors. Don't need those because I bought millions, remember. But this is the device that we're talking about. Now they have this standard size here. I think it's 32mm. I'll check that and put that up in the comments. And it's a lovely rubber, good quality rubber case, cap that waterproofs the USB terminals, but it's got a little cutout in there to see the voltmeter. When you pick it out, there are your two USB terminals, and in between there'll be a little digital readout there of your voltage. Pretty cool, and it's green. I've got some old sleeving that I nicked off a wiring loom that I had from my previous USB connector, which I did run from the dashboard. It had a little sticky pad that stuck on the dashboard, and I ran the cable all the way back to the battery. There's a fuse and everything in there. A bit cumbersome that, so I've shortened that, kept the USB connector and put it under the passenger seat so that we can charge securely, maybe like a GoPro battery charger in there, or a phone, or just one of those little power banks as we're riding along somewhere just out of the way. It's pretty cool. But in shortening it, I managed to yield this sleeve, which I'll use for the new loom. So I'm going to crudely measure how long a loom I need to make by using the sleeving to act as a bit of a measure. It's going to go through the USB mounting point, down to the loom where we need to connect into, just down inside there. And in the best time on a tradition, add a little bit. Cool. Easy. A couple of things to note: when you install it, make sure that it's installed so that the voltmeter is horizontal so you can read it properly, obviously. On the back there's just a small locating ring which you need to remove so that you can insert this correctly into your dashboard, which we'll see in a minute, and this is then screwed on from behind to secure the USB socket. One other thing to note on the back, a very important point, is that the terminals are polarity dependent. It is important which way around you connect them, is what that means. The plus has to go to the plus, the positive of your battery, your live, and the minus goes to your earth. It has to be that way around, it won't work the other way around. So there is a positive sign and a negative sign, but they're also colour coded, so the sort of goldy colour is positive and the silver colour is the ground. In this instance your USB socket may be different, but if you pick the same one up from Amazon, I think they do different colours, in case your bike's not green. But they do different colours on the back. You'll probably find the same here. So in this case the gold is positive, the silver is negative. So let's make our loom. Let's unpack this little bad boy. Don't need it all. Seems horribly wasteful, but that's life. We'll use that cabling for something else. Now, something to note here. There is an inline fuse holder. If you're installing this directly to your battery, please, please, please keep the inline fuse holder in there. That will be correctly rated to the power consumption of the socket. One of the concerns I had, I've seen some people connect this to the heated grips and stuff like that. It's quite likely the heated grips are going to be fused to a significantly higher current loading than the USB accessory socket. So if something does go wrong, if you've not got the correct rated inline fuse, you could have a bit of an issue. So in this case, we're just going to create a fairly short loom directly to the switch live, which has got the relay in there already in the circuit in the bike and the right protection in the bike. So we don't actually need this. So hopefully this part's long enough to fit our loom without the inline fuse. So here we go, let's make the loom up. Here's my length, my measure. Yay, wicked. So we cut them just at the same, similar length here. Rock and roll. Now's the time to feed it through the sleeving. We don't want to put all the connectors on the end and try and get that through the sleeving. That would be something of a challenge. Oh yeah. So we're going to leave a little bit of space at the end here when we come to tune the loom later to make sure it's all the right length and stuff like that, so we can get access to easily clip it to our USB socket. This side is where, this end is where we're going to put the two bullet connectors. Now on the loom, the switch live is a female connector, so we need a male connector on the red, and on the loom the earth is a female. So there's a male already, so we need a female on the earth line here to connect them together. Let's do that. Joyful, what a lovely kit. So these chubbies are called bullet connectors. These are not. So we need a bullet connector, male, and a bullet connector, female. The way these little things work is you slide the cable that you need to join up into that hole back there, if the GoPro is focusing on it. I don't know if it will or not. That then fits in the specific jaws of the device here, which allows you to crush to a predetermined size the little metal collar inside there, and that crimps down onto the cable and holds it all tight in position. Inane mumblings of the ZedRunner. Some of you might have really clever wire strippers, but I don't. So all we've done is use the little strippers to pull off the outer sheath. We're going to twist our cable up so that it fits neatly into the plugs. We're going to do little crimp connectors, and remember we need a male onto the live, so that simply fits in there. And crimp down on the cable. There you go, happy days. On this side we're going to put the female connector. I've got myself all grubby. Put it into the crimp tool, hold it so it doesn't fall out, and give it a good old crimping. That's it. That is our loom. What we're going to do is connect this end to the USB socket, that end to the bike, and we'll be ready to go. So remember I said about the terminal polarities, so the gold was positive and the silver was negative, so here we go, easy. Red's positive. You want a nice firm connection on these. If these are a bit too loose, you get your crimp tool and maybe squeeze them down a bit. You don't want them falling out or sliding off. That went on nice though. And that one. Yeah, good. Good solid connections. We love that. So let's take off the mounting ring. Happy days. Install into the bike. We may need to make that hole a little larger, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to need a file. The hole is just a bit too tight, so we just widen it out. So using the semicircular file to make it easier to follow the circle, the actual hole itself. See how this goes. Little test. See if we can take any more. Oh, close, close, close. A little bit more. Let's try again. Oh, so close now. Here we go. Just fall straight in, that'll be cool. And she's in. Wicked. So we're going to put the lock nut on now and then do the wiring. Make sure that's orientated as I want it to be. Pretty much there. This is the lock nut. It can go on pretty much either way. It's fine. There's no grips on one side and not on the other. They're both dual sided. So we just slide it up here. Screw it on the back of the USB socket. Now you want to do this up quite firmly. A couple of reasons. Firstly, there's nothing more annoying than having a socket that rotates around when you use it, and you don't want it rattling out and falling around the bike when you're going along, so get it tight, as tight as you can get it. Okay, so now we've got the loom, we want to get that, feed that back down here to pick up these two connections. Okay. There they are, done. Let's get the camera down there so you can see. There you go, they're the two chubbies. What I found I could do was get one hand down the top here to hold the loom, and the other hand in the side to force the loom connections together. Now they're really tight and they're spot on, so we're going to test it. So let's power the bike up and see what it looks like. Nice. Green display, most importantly, because it is, of course, a Kawasaki. So let's plug in a USB lead, switch it all on and see if it works. Now, mine's an iPhone Lightning adapter, so what we'll do is we'll get my phone, we'll plug this in, and then we'll turn the ignition on and you'll see the phone will start charging. To make this easier, I'm going to put the iPhone on my quad lock. You can see that I've got the cable connected to my USB socket. It's not charging at the moment. We don't have the ignition on, so that's what we expect. As soon as I put the ignition on, this USB device should power up and we should get our charging icon. Let's see. Bang, there you go, straight away. So there's our voltmeter, USB connection into our phone, working. Perfect. Now turn the ignition off, the charging icon should disappear. And it does. Back on again. Back off. I'd say that's a success. So reinstallation of this is pretty simple. It just slides underneath there. So it goes underneath the screen mounts, and then there's two mounting points that go in behind the dash clocks. And then we'll put our pop rivets in, our 4mm bolts back in. We probably didn't need to have taken this out, as it turns out in the end, but never knew for the access, so got it nice and clean now anyway. That's a bonus. So these are the pop rivets. So what we're going to do is prepare them for installation by pushing the pins back through the body of the pop rivet. So that means just like that. So once they're installed, just push them into the receiving hole and just push the pin in. That's it, and it clamps the back of the rivet, kind of pop rivet fitting, pulling the two pieces together. Dead easy. Nice. Good stuff. Now for the 4mm bolts. This might freak some of you out, but notice that's clean, that's dirty. I'm actually going to clean that up before I put it back on the bike. So make sure you've got the little plastic washer on there. Just goes into the receiving hole, and just do that with the 4mm Allen key. Now these aren't done up really tight, don't forget. You just need it fairly firm against that plastic washer. You don't need a big socket set, you don't need to lean on it and get an extra quarter turn. They just do up until you start squeezing that plastic washer, just gently. There, that's it, just firm. That's it. Nothing more than that, that's all you need. But hopefully, you can see how easy this is to do. You don't need to go to your dealer and get a very expensive accessory fitted. Right, ready? That's just firm enough, so just a little twist. That's literally it. Nice and firm. Pucker job. While the screen's off, it's just easier to do these bolts here now, so we'll get those in next. Same 4mm bolts used throughout this entire sort of area. Dead easy. That needs a clean. Better. Let's get that in. There we go, that's it. Clean enough for today. I won't do much more, just want to get the bike reassembled. I've got to ride out tomorrow, so I'll do the coating and get this really properly cleaned up and polished back so it's mint next time around. But for now, it's going to go back on the bike. Same process with the silver bolts this time. And just get that nipped up, not too tight. Just start squeeze. There you go. Not probably a little too tight actually. So let's just try that again. Yeah, okay, that's it. Let's test the screen works. We haven't done anything daft. So down here's the button. Bingo. Bingo. Now Now we're going to reinstall all the fairing pieces that we took off, starting with a little trim, black trim that goes down here. So effectively it's going to fit in here, slightly underneath the seat, but there are two tangs, 1, 2, and they fit into the rubber bushes there, so watch out, make sure you get that aligned, and just gently ease them onto the bushes. Okay, so they're popped on there, and there's a silver bolt that goes there, a silver bolt that goes there. There you go. Last bolt will secure this side panel in. So just to remind you, in the back of the fairing, the panel itself, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little tangs. They need to be eased gently into place. But when you slide it on from the front, you want to hook these into their respective points on the fairing. Dead easy to do. So you've got 1 mounting point, 2, 3, and then the rubber grommets for the fairing tangs. I'll get that cable out of the way. Once you've slid it in at the front, check the alignment. Looks pretty good. And then ease these little tangs in. So you want to line these tangs up. There's one here, and one at the back. So get them aligned and gently just push in. Looks pretty good to me. Check it on the other side. Looks similar. It's not just coming off. Yep, they're all located. Happy days. Now we'll fit the Allen bolts and the pop rivets. Allen bolt, pop rivet, Allen bolt up here as well. And then we're ready. Now these are the little plastic pop rivet fittings, so to prepare them, just push the stem all the way back through so it protrudes like that. Put it into the hole in question, dead easy, and then push the button. That's it. Solid. 4mm Allen bolt. So into the hole, push the button. Solid. Allen bolt there, Allen bolt back here, and we're done. Honestly, this is such an easy process to fit the USB accessory socket that I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're worried about it, then get someone to help who knows, or indeed take it to a dealer and get it done. But this is a way of getting a really cool socket, double socket with the voltmeter on there, which the accessory socket isn't as good as that, for a lot less money, and it doesn't take long at all. Final Allen bolt to go in. So I'll wrap the cable around the solid mount. When you turn the bars, the mount stays still, so we're not going to grind that cable anywhere. It's hidden. It's also, the bump stops stop it crushing that cable. It keeps it out of the way, rather than riding over the top, over the top here, and it's snagging and catching on things. This keeps it out of the way. So happy days, really pleased with that install. To summarise, this is a great way of getting a high specification 2 outlet and a voltmeter USB socket on your bike for a fraction of the cost of the factory option. It looks the business because it's the right colour, it's green, and it works perfectly. Took about half an hour to do. Anyone can do it with real basic tools, and even if you invested in like the crimp tool and stuff like that, it's still going to cost you a lot less than the factory mod, and it's pretty damn satisfying to have done it yourself too. Hope you liked it, hope you found it helpful. We're going to do a few more reviews of accessories and things we're going to buy, GoPro mounts and stuff like that. Next thing is looking at mounting a rear facing camera, as the previous 3+ installation was not very successful. So I'm going to pick up a GoPro session looking at one of those at the moment, and probably mounting that on the rear tail, so watch out for the video of that one to see how successful that goes. But This has been brilliant. Subscribe to the channel to see more updates on my Z1000SX and where we go on it, the travels we've got. We've got a fantastic trip to Normandy over the D-Day celebrations coming up very soon, about 2 weeks' time. So watch out for the day-by-day videos of that. And we've got a few more ride-outs around the UK. So if you want to join us, hook me up here and we'll catch up with you at some point on the road. Safe riding.